Welcome back to the Proper Pop Podcast. Today, it's me again, obviously, Chris, and I'm going to be talking about my work week. So, I recently just went from doing 40 hours a week at this grocery store to doing 70 hours a week, which is a huge jump. But I was previously doing two other jobs on top of it. I was doing Instacart and I was doing um working at the gym now. So I completely stopped doing Instacart, and now I still work at the gym, but it's not very often. It's only like probably like 3 hours a month or something real low. But I get into the sessions, for free by working there, which is really great. So I want to keep up and work there as much as I can. But also I am still selling paintings, and I'm still able to record this podcast. And I have that other podcast I'm still recording for as well. So even with all of those hours being added on, I'm still able to do everything else. And I just wanted to talk about the pros and cons of doing that, and yeah. So I also just want to back up a little bit here. So talking about the sprint versus the marathon, I just want to mention that from a previous episode and talk about like sustainability and so basically the marathon is sustainability. What are you able to accomplish and make it sustainable long term versus doing something really good? So say you go on like a super strict diet and you do that, but it's only for a short time. It's not going to help you out. Or you could do a marathon, and you could have like 3 cheat days a week, and that's not super great. You might binge a little bit on those days, but it's still better than doing nothing. It's still better than doing nothing at all, and that's what I'm talking about. So what I'm doing here is I don't know if this is sustainable. I feel good. I've been doing it for over a week now, and yeah, so I'm just trying to find out if this is something that's sustainable. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing myself in all the way. Also, like a previous episode, learn how to swim in deep water. So instead of picking up like 10 and being like, yeah, I can pick up more, and then I pick up 20, I'm like, yeah, I can pick up more, and then I pick up 30. That's stressful to me because I'm like, it's easy to get comfortable. You're easy to be like, oh, I'm picking up 10 hours. I'm working so much overtime, whatever. Like, this is like a lot of overtime, 10 hours, whatever. 20 hours is a lot of overtime. Versus instead of getting comfortable there, now I'm just like, I'm going to pick up 30 because it's ridiculous. And what I can do this way is it's easier to pull back a little bit than it is to add on. It always is. So if I added 10 before, I probably wouldn't have added on. So I added 30, and I'm still doing all the things, and I just wanted to see how this would affect me, if it affects me mentally and physically, or if it affects my work-life balance. And so far, I feel great. The first few days were a huge learning curve. I'm so thankful that I started this like halfway through the week and then had my Saturday off. So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing 6 12-hour days, but then I get unpaid breaks. So it comes out to like 69 hours. And but I'm still selling paintings, and I'm still working a little bit at the gym. So I am getting like over 70 hours. But yeah, so the pros of this are that I don't notice the difference that much. So the biggest thing is that I'm on a consistent schedule now. So obviously if you start work at like 9 o'clock, 9 to 9 would be the worst thing ever. I would never want to do that ever. What I do is I do 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's so nice because I don't know, like it's really great. Like the earlier you get up, you don't notice. You don't notice when you're up early. Obviously you're like a little more tired, but the way that the world functions, things open at 9 a.m. So the earlier you wake up, then you have this thing where it's like, oh, things are opening up at 9 a.m. People are moving around, but you've been up for however long, if like 6 hours, say, and it's like, geez, I've been up for 6 hours, and then you get off. That means you're getting off earlier. Versus it's like that sleeping in thing. Like if you sleep until 9, it's like, man, your day's like gone. Your day is gone. And you don't notice the difference if you woke up at 8 or 9, but that extra hour is huge. Now, if you woke up at 6, you might not notice. But I mean, obviously, your body has to get used to it, and my body is used to it now. So waking up that early is no big deal for me, and I'm still able to stay awake until like 9 or 10, and that's plenty for me. Because like the later I stay up, I'm not gonna get things done. I'm not gonna get things done later. You're drained. You want to get things done in the early morning, and then by the end you can do the things that you enjoy because you have the drive to get those things done, versus the things you don't want to do. That's the stuff you get done in the morning. So that's been really great, just being on a consistent schedule. And like I'm like I always wake up at 4:30 now. Like I'm always going to, because before sometimes I wake up at 12 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 3 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 5:30. Sometimes I wake up at like 6 7 because I have to get into work at 8:30. It's like why do I want it to be changed all the time? So instead I just wake up at 5 a.m. and I get off at 5 p.m. And it's been super nice. My sleep schedule is just honed in now, and the other thing is like working that 8 hour shift, you're constantly like, oh, when am I gonna go home? I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost there. I just got to get through this amount of time. Versus I'm working a 12 hour, get there, and I just settle in because I'm like, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And so I just get comfortable. I don't work as fast because I obviously have to I have to be in a sustainable position. And obviously I never have to work as fast as I make myself work. That's just the way I am. So I get there, and obviously I'm managing. So there is things that need to get done on a timely manner, in a timely manner. So yeah, I mean, it's like I just I just show up and I'm like I'm ready to be settled in and comfortable. And then now also I'm not picking up all my hours in the same department. I'm picking up hours everywhere. So I'm becoming to be friends with everyone in the store, which is really nice. Another reason that I'm settled in. And so I don't have that constant anxiety of like, how much time do I have left to get this done? How much time do I have left before I get to go home? Where do I squeeze in my break? What makes the most sense? Now I have 12 hours and I'm just like, I'm just here. I'm just here now. So that's actually a positive, is funny enough. And then now I also learn all the processes throughout the entire store, so things in my department make more sense. Just there's a lot of stuff here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna plug in my computer real quick. It says it's low on batteries. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and then the cons. Let's talk about the cons real quick. So obviously, the physical and mental drain that this takes is quite a bit. So mentally, if I find that if I wake up at 4:30, I'm fine. But if I wake up at 3:30, it's tough. But the positive side of that is that I get off work that hour earlier than I normally would. So there is a good trade-off, and then I have more time to get things done at night. So that mental fog is slowly I'm slowly getting over that, and it's becoming less and less. Like okay, last night I slept like 10 hours, I think. But the night before, that's because my day off today. But the night before, I slept three. I slept 3 hours, and it was insane. But the whole day, I felt completely fine. By the end of the day, I was getting foggy headed, and I went to bed at 8. Oh, 8:40. That's not bad. 8:40. Eric, you'd be proud. But yeah, so like I'm still able to stay up and get things done and actually enjoy my day. And then like think about that, like being awake for that amount of time, sleeping 3 hours a day. Obviously, that's not sustainable. But on the occasion that happens, I am able to function, which is really great. So the things that I'm changing around the house, well, I'll get back to that. More cons. Let's talk about cons. So mentally draining. And then my knees and ankles really feel it, especially my knees, which I have not ever had a problem with my knees because my ankles are so bad. So usually my ankles get so bad that my knees never get bad, if that makes any sense. Like my ankles are so sensitive that my knees never hurt because my knees are just stronger than my ankles are. So I stop doing things before it gets to my knees. But right now it's getting to my knees just because I'm on my feet so much. So the bottom of my feet kind of get bruised a little bit, and then my knees have just been like tight. Like kind of like a little swell. I think it's just my quads being like so tight all the time. Um, and then everything all day is like a time crunch outside of work. So in work, I'm just like relaxed. But then outside of work, I'm like, man, I got all this stuff to do. There's all these things I want to do, and I don't have that much time. And then I get tired, and I'm like, man, I don't want to work out, or I don't want to clean, or whatever it is that's going on. So that can be a little bit bad. But I'm figuring it out. And now I am learning how I function and learning how to be more efficient with my energy so that because obviously I don't have an infinite amount of energy and I don't have an infinite amount of time either. So I don't want to show up and just be like, okay, get to work. And I just start cleaning everything right when I walk in. Something that I've been doing is like, I'll walk in the door and then I'll like just take off all my clothes and then drop them where they are. And then I can start cleaning right away. Because it's funny because as soon as I take off, like if I change after work and then take a shower, now I just want to lay down. versus I get home and I just take off all of my clothes. Now I feel like I'm like still, it's like what I do at session. I show up in all my clothes, I warm up, and then I start taking off my clothes, and that's because I just feel like less hot, and like it's like almost like a restart. Like, oh, now I'm fresh, and then I take off more clothes. Oh, now I'm more fresh. So just stuff like that. Like I'm just like I didn't even realize that it was like that, but it really is like that. Like I take off my shirt and I start like cleaning dishes, and then I take off my pants, and then I start helping, taking care of the fish stuff, and then I take off my shoes, and then I start picking up all my clothes and anything else that I left out, and my, everything. And so it's just, yeah, like that. I just like slowly unwind instead of unwinding all at once and then trying to pick up around the house. Some other things that are, oh yeah, so this is something else, is like I feel like I'm more lonely when I work and then come home. It just feels like I'm go 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 all the time, and I'm like, what am I working for? Because I don't get to see anybody, and I'm getting to be more friends with the people at work, but I want to come home to someone, which would be really, really sweet. So now, because I'm working so much, I realize how important that is, and why that is such a great thing in life, is to come home to someone, like when you live with someone else. So whether that's a roommate that you're really good friends with, or someone that you love and want to live with. So yeah, I think that's another thing. Oh yeah, so let's talk about how to fix this now. So those are the cons. What have I changed in my life to allow myself to work the 70-hour work week, and why don't I notice a change in my work-life balance? Now that I've been doing this for over a week, things have been really good, and I actually believe that I can continue doing this for a long term. I believe that this is a marathon style, and it's very easy to stop doing such an immense amount of overtime if I need to. So things have changed. I'm done scrolling Instagram and Facebook. I barely ever do that. If I do, it's because I come home exhausted. I take off all my clothes. I sit on my bed for a second, scroll a little bit, and then get up and then take care of things. So the only time I would ever do that is if I am totally exhausted, and I use it as a way to kind of get my mind out of my life for a second and like it's like turning on a movie, but a lot shorter. That's how I'm using that. And then otherwise, I'm not on my phone doing Instagram or Facebook. I'm still posting, but I'm not scrolling. And uh, for my knees and ankles, I'm wearing compression socks, and I'm getting new shoes. So I'm getting running shoes and I'm getting work shoes. And before they were both the same, but I want two separate ones, and I want really good insoles. And the reason I want them to be different is because I don't want to have the same indents in them, or wear through them too quickly. But also things like athlete's foot happen when you wear the same shoes too long, and then also my shoes get like dirty. So I want to feel good, so I want nice shoes at both places, and I want them to be different because I don't. It's like a weird mental thing where I don't want my work life to go into my into my life. I want them to be a little bit separate. So if I'm wearing the same clothes I am at work, or if I'm wearing the same shoes I am at work, it's gonna make me feel weird. And I don't want that to happen. So it's just keeping things separate like that. I'm taking a lot more cold showers. So cold showers feel so good now. And I think that it's because my and ankles are swelling up a little bit, and my low back has been swelling up because I've been, so I took a little break of tricking because I hurt my neck. So also my neck and then my low back. And I'm talking break like 7 days. Like it was nothing. But, yeah, so I'm taking a lot more cold showers to deal with that, but I feel like I'm going to keep it up because also with that little bit of mental fog, it's really good to come home, take a little shower, and then it doesn't like make me wind down. Like taking a hot shower would make me wind down and want to sit down and relax. Versus the cold shower, I'm gonna be like, wow, I feel so fresh and good now. All the swelling's gone. It released so many endorphins. I'm ready to go, and I can just do stuff, and it relieves the swelling, so I don't feel like I've been on my feet all day. It feels like I'm good. And then I'm stretching. Stretching has become a way bigger part of my workout. So before I would stretch like maybe 10 minutes after my workout, and now it's going to be a lot more than that. And I'm going to stretch, before I go to bed, which I was doing before, but that before it was like my sessions would go a lot longer than they do now. So I'm doing shorter sessions, but more often. And then I'm doing which is way better for my body because what was happening was I would do a long session and then I would have to take breaks and I didn't have a choice. And then sometimes I'd be like, man, I have to miss the session because I feel like crap. So now I'm doing shorter sessions, but I'm making as many as I can, which feels way better. And I can go really hard in the beginning and then cool down at the end so that my body is, long-term healthier. Long-term, I'm talking like the week, not long-term, talking like forever because I don't know what's going to happen. And then, oh yeah, so at work, so I am on my feet a lot, but because I'm the manager, there is also a lot of paperwork that I have to do. And I used to delegate about half of it to my assistant, but now I don't delegate any of it because I want to sit down. And it's obviously work that needs to get done, and it's work that I need to do. So it's not me being selfish or anything, and I don't think he really wants to do it anyway. But the thing is, I just take advantage of every sit down, any chance that I get to sit down and do something, I do it because I'm going to be on my feet so much. And when I come home, I don't want to sit down either. Obviously, there's going to be some time where I need to. But yeah, I'd like to still run after work, and I would like to still do sessions after work. And yeah, so that's it. And I talked about the compression socks and the new shoes and stuff. I just want to say that that is helping with my foot bruising a ton, and my knees are feeling better. So that would be something that would be not sustainable. Don't try to push through stuff like that if it is making it impossible. Like you don't want, because if tricking was affected by this, I would stop. And I know that my back issue is not from tricking. So, well, like it is, but it's not, or I mean, it's not from work. It's from tricking, which means that work didn't cause it. So I just continue doing what I'm doing. I'm healing my back, and then I will be back into tricking. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it because it is possible that it does. So if it does impact my tricks significantly, I will cut back on hours because I need to trick. That is super important to me mentally. Something that I've also changed is like if I work the 12 hours and I come home and do nothing, because I did do that a couple nights where I did nothing but watch TV, and then I tried to do some art, and then I went to work the next day and I did it again, and then I went to work the next day, and then I sessioned, and I was like, whoa, that made me so much better. Like it didn't matter because my session was like okay because I was still just coming back from that back thing. And but it was just so good to get out of the house. I feel like I got to go do something and I got to see people, and I felt way better. So having something planned for after work is like the best thing ever. And that makes me feel like I have a good work-life balance because I'm finding that work-life balance isn't about having like the same amount of time on both sides. It's actually just having something planned. And people who have poor like work-life balances is because they're tired, quote unquote tired. After they work, but it's like honestly, like your body can take a lot more than you're dishing out to it, and then mentally, your brain is also a muscle. Just let it grow, let it learn to handle what you're giving it, and then just pay attention to what it's doing and what your body, what the side effects are. And if you can't handle those, then cut back. But for the most part, you should be able to handle it and adapt. And that's what this is all about. I don't have an infinite amount of energy. I'm not growing my energy, and I'm not stretching myself thin. I'm becoming more efficient about what I'm doing and how I'm getting it done. So it's like I can do more. Which is really what that is. And then something else is I'm making sure that I'm not drinking any energy drinks at work. The only exception is that if I'm having a short session or a light session, I'll drink half an energy drink, and then I'll save the other half for when I have to wake up early the next day. So like the night that I only slept 3 hours, I only had half an energy drink, went to session, ran the session, tricked a bit, and then I saved that second half, and then I woke up after 3 hours of sleep and I drank the rest of it, and that just got me going to it. I didn't even notice it, honestly. And I don't want to drink the energy drinks at work because I don't want it to become a consistent thing. I work more often than I trick. So if I'm getting energy drinks at work, I'm going to be drinking them all the time, which is obviously I have to buy them. And then second of all, I have to, I'm going to grow a tolerance to it. And then when I go to session, I am going to be exhausted. There's not necessarily a crash thing. But the difference in feeling of having energy versus not having energy is just going to be crap. So I want to not have an energy drink at work, come home, go to session, have my energy drink. It's basically like, it's like gold. Like I just don't want to I don't want to draw upon deep energy unless I really want to. And I know that something like that would affect my session. So I don't have energy drinks every time I session either. But if I have the opportunity to take advantage of it, I would like to. I just don't want to waste an energy drink on something I know I can get through without it. So yeah. that's where I'm at. I'll probably give you guys another update coming up on how things are going, how long I can keep this up. Um, Me personally, the way I want to do this is I want to keep this up for like at least 2 years. Yeah, we'll see. Just like financial goals and stuff that I'm working towards, that's what makes sense. So unless something changes with the art stuff or with tricking stuff or whatever, so yeah, we'll just see how that goes. I'd love to keep you guys updated, and if you have questions, definitely shoot them my way. Remember, my Instagram is at Coach Chris. Hold on, let me check what it is. I forget the number that they gave me. At Coach Chris 870, no caps, no underscores. Yeah, go check that out. Make sure that you're interacting with that page as well. And see you guys next time.